Bill Burr. Okay, so this evening I was invited by Netflix to watch an advanced screening of their upcoming movie, The Guilty. I think it's coming out this Friday, October 1st. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and several other people. There are some people that you see physically on camera, but most of the other actors are just voices on the phone. And some of them are pretty big names, like Ethan Hawke, Peter Sarsgaard, if I'm pronouncing his name right, who is actually Jake's brother-in-law, or maybe brother-in-law. I don't know if he and Jake's sister are actually married, but whatever. He's Jake's sister's boyfriend or husband, unless they've broken up since I last found out. Anyway, him and Bill Burr. Bill Burr makes a voice appearance. And when I heard it, I was like, is that Bill Burr? And I go do some searching. It is Bill Burr. It's totally him. Anyway, whatever. That was like the highlight of the film. No, I'm sort of kind of. Okay, I have mixed feelings about this movie. I understand that this is a remake of a 2018 movie called The Guilty as well, I believe. My brother said it's Danish. I guess it is. I haven't verified. I knew it was from somewhere over there in Europe. I've heard it's really, really good. And now after having seen this, I would like to go and watch the original and see how it compares to this, because the premise is interesting. However, at the same time, it's a bit boring at moments and drags a bit, but yet it still keeps you watching because you want to find out what's going to happen, and is he going to be able to save this woman who appears to be in distress and be, with her husband or whatever. And location's limited. You don't go anywhere outside of this call center where he is. Now, my brother, the author, is a 911 operator in Los Angeles County. And I was thinking, when I got the invitation to watch this today, I was like, man, it'd be really cool if he could be watching this with me, because he's going to tell me everything that's wrong with this film. So I was talking to him tonight before I started watching it, and he did say that they were talking, a group of them, the dispatchers, that they were talking about how unrealistic it is because he has a non-spill cup right there, glass right there with him at the work center. You're not supposed to do that, and all these other things that I'm not an expert in this field, but I just intuitively know that some of the stuff that he's doing and the way he's behaving is just absolutely not acceptable. And I feel like his butt would have been kicked out of there so much sooner. Well, not that his butt was kicked out of there, but I feel like his butt would have been kicked out pretty much the very beginning of the film, practically, because this dude is an asshole. I did not like his character at all, and I'm not even sure, maybe you're not supposed to, but he came across as really abrasive, rude, he was overly dramatic, and I would say it almost felt like he was overacting in a lot of ways, because a lot of that, when he would overreact to something that was happening, especially when he was on a call with the main people of the storyline. It shows him having calls here and there, and Bill Burr's one of those calls, like I already mentioned, and then there's other people that call in little minor stuff, and he gets real pissed at them, and he's sarcastic, and I know this sort of thing can kind of happen with the dispatchers, because the amount of absolutely ridiculous calls that they get, it's not even funny. It is such a waste of their time, and it gets on their last nerves. In general, though, they, for the most part, are very professional in how they handle it. But it's just, it's crazy. So I get it. But the way he was reacting to some of these calls, like being snide or hanging up on people, and being real snappy, like overbearingly snappy with people that would, hey, so and so's on the line. Do you want to take the call? They're trying to reach you. And his reaction was just, I know he was in like a panic state, but he was like on overdrive rudeness practically the entire movie, except maybe sometimes when he was talking to the people he was trying to help, the people that were in a serious situation. But he was just, his personality made the movie great on my nerves. Now, a lot of people love Jake Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal, however you say his last name, whatever. It's tomorrow already, and I'm trying to get this done so that maybe I can edit it for tomorrow. I know a lot of people love him, love his acting. I like him okay. He doesn't really light a huge fire under me or anything like that. Like he's not like my favorite. And I wouldn't necessarily watch a movie because he's in it. But he was kind of annoying in this movie. He really was. And maybe that was just supposed to be his character, or maybe he just overdid it, or just the premise of the way he was acting. Just, I know in real life that would not fly in a 911 dispatch center. I don't even have to be there to know that that is just not something that would go over very well. I mean, you've got him doing stuff like going off in another room to kind of sequester himself so he can try to deal with the situation, the call situation that is the one that's woven throughout the entire story, which makes up the basis of his whole shift here during this movie. And he locks himself in this room or closes himself up in this room to deal with it. And he gets mad and he's like throwing things around or tossing things to the floor. Nobody hears this. Nobody hears him screaming inside the room and throwing stuff around and basically just having a big, huge temper tantrum. No one hears this at the time that it's going on. It's very obvious. I mean, I don't see how you can. But just stuff like that. It's just kind of like, there's just no way this would happen. And I don't know. He would also do things like, I'm sure my brother could analyze the hell out of this movie and point out everything that's wrong. In fact, Timothy, I think you should do that. I think you should like make a video of everything that's wrong with the way things happen in this movie, because I know you know this stuff better than me. Anyway, but he would do things like ask people or tell people to do things they shouldn't do. Now, his character is a cop who's been demoted to 911 call center. My brother informs me that's not really considered a demotion because it's actually better in a lot of ways. But he's viewing it as a demotion because he's done something, he's in trouble, there's some sort of hearing or something the next day, and this is his last night working on this shift, and so he's dealing with the stress of that. He's also separated from his wife, so he's dealing with that, and he wants to talk to his little girl, and his wife won't let him because it's in the middle of the night. And then he's dealing with this situation of these little kids that have been left alone, and their mother seems to have been abducted by their father, and there's so it's just, he has a lot of stress on him, but still he would not be allowed to do the things that he was doing and acting the way that he was acting. And so that just got under my skin. I'm like, there's just no, so that's why I want to watch the original and see if that was handled a little bit better, if it was more realistic and the way it was done. The storyline itself was okay. The little twist that was revealed at the end, or like the major twist that was revealed at the end, I actually saw coming, and part of that is the poster right there. Listen carefully. I think I even saw a tagline, something like "things aren't what they seem," or something along those lines. So I kind of go into this knowing that there's going to be a twist or some sort of mystery-ish pseudo type thing, not full-blown mystery, but there's stuff that he doesn't know what he's dealing with at the time, and things are revealed as he goes along. So when this reveal happened, I had already guessed it a while back. So when it happened, it didn't surprise me, and then I was just getting agitated at the way he was handling he gets to this dramatic moment where he's sort of bearing all to the person on the other end of the line, and I get why he did it, but at the same time, by then his character was just wearing thin on me, and so I just didn't even care. So I don't know, I've got to compare because I can't speculate. further than that, because I won't know how this stacks up to the original until I watch the original. I'm not sure where it's available, but I definitely want to check it out and just see. I have a feeling the original is going to have done a better job. I just have that feeling. Number one, a lot of actors from Europe, in my opinion, many actors from Europe are just generally better actors anyway. So I'm curious to compare the main actor's performance with Jake's. Jake didn't do a horrendous job, but honestly, it did feel like he was just overacting. I don't know. That's just the way it came across to me. And like I said, pulled me out of the moment. So anyway, this film is coming out soon. It's decent. I wouldn't necessarily say that it wasn't worth my time watching it. I appreciate that I got the opportunity to watch it, and I don't utterly hate it, but there's just so much that I feel is inherently wrong with the way things were. Maybe it was just the setting, you know. I just know there's no way these things. Okay, it's a fiction movie, right? There's no way this stuff would happen anyway because it's fiction. Fiction is, but you still want it to be grounded in some semblance of reality. And there was just so much that went on here that I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. He would have just been dismissed. It just doesn't matter, you know. But whatever, that wouldn't make for a very exciting story, would it? Okay, I feel like I'm ranting at this point, and I don't think I've gone down through as not realistic. He's overreacting. He's overacting. He's not a likable protagonist. He's asking people to do things that they shouldn't do. I did appreciate that there were ridiculous calls that came in. They kind of highlighted the insanity of the stuff that 911 dispatchers have to deal with. I also did appreciate that there was a certain thing touched on that is subject matter that I've also touched on in certain ways on my channel. I'm not going to get too specific because I've been asked not to do, you know, spoilers, and I don't want, if I delve too much into it, you'll kind of get where I'm coming from. But also the other sort of theme going on in this movie is something that's relevant to a lot of stuff that makes headlines today. And I feel like this movie is trying to capitalize on that. Like I said, I don't know anything about the original. I don't know if the original has the exact same plot, so I need to watch. It's raining outside. Okay, sorry, that distracted me. I didn't know if it was if I was imagining it. Yeah, it's raining outside. Okay. Anyway, I guess maybe if I get a hold of the original, I'll do a review of that. If it sparks enough passion in me to actually make one. We'll see. But I guess that's all of my thoughts for this. I think I'm done ranting. I wouldn't necessarily rate it awful, but I feel like the movie that I did an advanced screening of last night was better than this. Of course, the premise was completely different and it wasn't all shot in one location. Oh, I know something I was going to say. It reminded me a bit of Searching. So you know how the premise of Searching is this guy's searching for his daughter, and it all takes place on webcam type stuff. That's kind of what it reminded me of, except it was pulled off differently. The plot, of course, was a little different, but that's a very similar type of situation. When I first read the premise of this, I was thinking, is this a remake of that Halle Berry movie, The Call? And no, it's not a remake of that. And I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a ripoff of that, because there have been movies or shows where it does in a lot of ways revolve around a call in a 911 center. This is not the first time it's ever happened, but in The Call, she actually leaves the location of the call center. So it's not confined to just one place. So they're only similar in the fact that the protagonist works at a 911 call center, takes a call and takes the call personally and does things that they would never and should never do. But that's really the only similarity. This is pulled off quite differently. So Okay, well, let me know what you think if you ever get around to it. Do you feel similar to how I do, or am I being overly harsh? I don't know. It's not something I think I would want to watch again just because, like I said, he was so aggravating in here. But maybe that was the point. Maybe you're not supposed to like him too much. But if you have a protagonist you don't really care for too much, and he's abrasive to the point that he's annoying the hell out of you, then it's kind of hard to appreciate the points that are trying to be made when everything draws to a head or stuff is ending up. And like I said, I have to be vague because I'm not supposed to talk spoilers. Okay, I'm wrapping this one up now, you guys. Later.